Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us. Welcome to this amazing section. Another opportunity for you to for us to share ideas and learn one or two things as regards the tech space. Welcome, but everyone. My name is Mark Olafare, and I'm excited to have you join. I see a few of us in this call. Arisi, Tele, Rodiat, Noma. Welcome, guys. Once again, this is the Analytics. If you are joining us for the first time, this is powered by Analytics. I have a few of my colleagues on this call. I have Elizabeth in this call. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you doing? Welcome. Can you hear me, Elizabeth?
Yes, I can, Mark. Hi.
Good to have you, Jeremy. I see Oyindamola. So hi, Oyindamola. How are you doing? Thank you for joining in. All right. Like you guys know, I think I have a few. If you are just joining any of our sections for the first time, can you give me like just write a one in the chat box? If today is the first section, maybe you have never joined any of our section, and this is the first time. Do you mind just writing a one? Let me be sure that we have new joiners in our midst. You can use the chat box if you are joining us for the first time. Just drop a one in the chat. But if this is like you're so maybe you've been in any of our section before, you can drop a 2 or a 3 or a 4, depending on the number of times you have joined our section. I'm not getting responses. I think I see a few people on this call. Let me see. I see Rodiat, Norma, Simple Lawrence. Are you just joining? Oh, Norma, welcome. Okay, Adania said it's our first time joining us. Welcome, Adania. Do we still have any other first timer that you're just joining any of our analytics section? Okay, I think the other guys have probably joined any of our section before. Either way, whether it's the first time, oh, I knew for okay, and I'm sure that we have people from different countries. You might just want to give me just write whatever country you are joining us from: Nigeria, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Ghana, South Africa. You might want to go ahead to just I can just give you a special oh, Fred from Uganda. Excited to have you join me, Fred. Adania from Dallas, Texas. Adania, how is Texas this afternoon? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I don't waste much of your time. Okay, I think I saw Vidya say she's from Kenya. Okay, so we have a couple of Africans on this call. Texas is hot. Okay. Well, I guess it's the season. Don't worry, very soon it's going to get cold. All right, welcome everyone. Whether joining us for the first time or the second time from Uganda to Nigeria to Texas to Kenya. Welcome to our analytics section. This is a section where we expose you to how amazing the tech space is, what you can do with data analytics to business analytics to financial analytics to, and I'm sure that it's going to be an exciting moment. Once again, my name is Mark Olafare. I'm a senior data analytics associate at Analytics. I'm going to be running us through this section, and my colleagues, myself and my colleagues are going to be able to show you how you can navigate the tech space, especially as a financial analyst. We're going to be using a health data set. That is something that for you to know that across different industry, from the tech space to the financial space, the health industry, to whatever sector it is that you can mention, data is something that we use on a regular basis. And with data, we're able to make ample decision. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead to share my screen so that we can see what we have here. We are going to be dropping like a form for you to be able to feel like an attendance. That way you'll be able to have access to any of our recordings, the material that is going to be used for this section. Please do well to fill the form so that you can have access to the material and of course the recording of this section. All right. Okay, like I said at the beginning, that we're going to be using Power BI to analyze a 12-month health data, right? Health department budget and performance. Now, Power BI is one amazing tool that helps tech entities to navigate the workspace. Whenever you are joining the tech space, Power BI is one tool that you can leverage on, right? It has an amazing visualization capability and analytics. We build individuals, we mentor individuals, we able to use this tool to get effective in whatever space, in whatever industry they find themselves, especially as a financial analyst. It's very important for you to be able to understand how Power BI can transform the workspace. Okay, well, like I introduced myself earlier, my name is Mark Alafare. I'm a data analytics and business intelligence professional. I'm a professional with proven expertise in data analytics tools. I've trained individuals in diverse sectors from data analytics to business analytics, and I've helped many individuals transition into the tech career space. I lead data-driven projects in various sectors. I've worked in the finance space, the retail space, the health space, and even the edutech space. I'm I'm an individual that likes to design impactful dashboards and reports for both operational and executive level stakeholders. Clear, as a seasoned business and data analyst, I am able to combine my analytical skills with my storytelling. And of course, I help business to make informed and smarter decisions, not just by barely looking at data, rather using data-backed decision. I'm so passionate about teaching, building dashboards, and helping business solve real problems. That is why one of the reasons why I'm right here in front of you, trying to share my idea with you on how we can leverage the power of data and Power BI. My colleague Elizabeth is a product manager and senior agile project manager here at Analytics. We have a decade of experience in product management. She's a true leader and coach for agile teams, consistently driving impactful results. She has successfully guided over 1,000 individuals that have no prior agile experience and helped them to make transition into project management. She has trained over 1,000 professionals from different continents, spanning across multiple sectors, from the health tech to the fintech and even the edutech. And there, she has been able to apply a deep knowledge of agile methodologies. When you're wondering why are we embarking on this project, why are we joining, why do we invite you to be part of this section? Right, it's very important for you to know that as a financial analyst, you will probably have a situation where you work in the health department of an organization, and you need to analyze what is happening around their budget, their expenditure, and also want to be able to show you the pathway to becoming a financial analyst, how you can secure a job. And we're also going to introduce our Analytics Growth Internship Program and something special that we have in store for you. We call it a special discount offer that we've designed for you. So I want you to relax, enjoy as much as you can. I want you to pay attention to every details of what we are going to be sharing with you in today's section. And trust me, at the end, you'll be excited and glad that you're part of today's section. So quickly, so why are we embarking on financial analytics, right? Financial analytics involves using data analysis and business intelligence tools. Now, remember we said that we're going to be using Power BI. It's an amazing business intelligence tool that you can use to monitor and optimize department operations and spending. It also enables organizations as a financial analyst, you're able to monitor budget utilization. You can track budget and departmental performance while supporting data-driven decision-making. With tools like Power BI and many other data analytics tools, an analyst can compare budgeted versus actual spending. You can actually assess return on investment. You can analyze cost breakdown. And of course, you can evaluate resource allocation. So why Power BI? Now you might be wondering that, oh, so what is using Power BI? Well, of all of the tools that we have for analytics, right? Power BI is a BI tool. We call it business intelligence that was developed by Microsoft. It enables users to connect. You know, one of the things I like about Power BI is the ability to connect You can use it to connect to different data sources, Google Sheets, the SQL server, your Excel, wherever data is stored, Power BI can access it. You can also transform data. You can analyze data, make insight from your data. You can visualize data from multiple sources and also build interactive and insightful visuals. Now, one important thing about Power BI is that it allows us to create real-time dashboards. You're able to create reports and helps organizations to make data-driven decisions in real time. What it translates to is that whenever data is, you can actually see what is happening. You are looking at the numbers. What is the numbers saying? What is happening around the business? What is happening around the budget? What is happening around the expenditure? Are we overspending? Are we in line with our budget? Are we overspending? So those are the things that you can use Power BI to do. As a Power BI user, you can actually integrate live data sources. Now, transactions are happening real time. Maybe you work in an e-commerce site, transactions are happening real time. You can actually connect your data, your Power BI to live transactions, right? Automate your reporting. You can sleep and just set a refresh and say, okay, you know what? At maybe every 6 hours, I want to see the status of our transactions, right? Or I want to see the number of patients that we have at every 12 hours, or at the close of the day, how many patients do we have? What was the total amount that we spent? What was the revenue that we generated, right? And with this, you can uncover trends through different charts, whether it is charts, whether it is graphs, or key performance indicators. Now, we're going to be looking at a particular company called the City Care Health Department. Now, we've been contacted as financial analysts, right? To help us evaluate how effectively City Care is allocating or utilizing the allocation funds over a 12-month fiscal year. So, what we're able to see, so what is happening with the funds that have been allocated? Are we overspending? Are we within budget? Are we not understanding? We're going to understand what is happening. So, we've been contacted as financial analysts to look at their budget. Now, as financial analysts, your role is to utilize Microsoft Power BI to understand the departmental financial performance by comparing the budget allocations to actual expenditure across different departments. From the public health program, we have the public health program department, we have the hospital service department, we have the administrative operations. Now, the goal is to uncover trends. We will be able to uncover what's happening around the spending behavior. We want to be able to highlight departments that are exceeding or underutilizing their budget. We're also interested in generating actionable insights that guide future planning, future budget planning, and resource allocation. It doesn't make sense if a particular department is underutilizing their budget. There is no point giving them more funds, right? We also want to be able to ration departments that are spending beyond budget. We want to be able to look at what are they spending more, what are they spending beyond their budget, right? So this is one of these are the reasons why we are embarking on this project. So I want to be going to be doing in the course of this project. 4 things we are going to be doing. The first thing is to prepare our data. So utilizes data, right? But the data will not analyze itself. The data will not just be telling you what's happening. You can't understand the story behind the data if you do not prepare the data. So what we're going to be doing first is to import and clean the data set in Power BI. We're going to clean the data, make sure it is ready and available for analysis, right? And next thing we do is to create a form of relationship. We have different departments, different data sets. We are getting our data sets from multiple sources. It said that with Power BI, you can get data from multiple sources. So we are going to create like a relationship where we can actually combine all these data, whatever they are coming from, together so that we can make sense of it. The next thing is what we're going to be doing, data modeling and calculation. Now, let me put it this way. Data modeling is simply saying that combining data, right, and creating relationship. Combining data, then creating relationship. That's the first thing we do, right? The next thing is for us to be able to do some calculations. In Power BI, we call those calculations DAX, data analysis expressions. Data analysis expression. What we do with data analysis expression, we're going to utilize key metrics. Now, for every business, there are certain parameters we want to look at. For the city healthcare health departments, we're interested in the total budget, the total expenditure. What is the budget variance? Let's talk about budget variance. I'm trying to see the margin between the budget and the expenditure. The amount you budgeted compared to the expenditure, how much it is spending. spend, how much is the amount spent, overspent, or underspent. That is the budget variance. I'm also going to be looking at the utilization rate. So which rate did we utilize our budget? Do we have a budget? Let's say, did we use 100% of our budget? If you spend 105% of our budget, if you spend 105%, we have overshoot our budget. And then we are going to be creating more like a jet table for our monthly evaluation. Now, what we've done with creating our calculation, we're going to design visuals. The beautiful thing about Power BI, it is visualization and design. Power BI is such an amazing tool where you can create visuals, images to interpret your numbers, right? It is easier for people to relate with visuals, with charts, right? Rather than just giving them numbers. So what I'm going to be doing is to design visuals for our budget and our actual, like a monthly trend. We're going to be looking at how all of the departments utilize their budget. We'll be looking at the expense category distribution, then department budget allocation, and utilization rate by different managements. So for the entire generation, we'll be aligning departments with consistent overspending or underspending. We're going to be looking at, so what is the department that spent beyond the budget or that underspend according to the budget? And we will provide recommendations for improving budget efficiency. I'm sure you're excited about what is called, right? The same way I'm excited. Once you're able to access the recording of this video and the material I'm going to be using within this short time frame, I want you to fill in the form that is my colleagues are going to be passing across. Please do well to fill with the appropriate information so that we can reach out to you. So let's jump right into our analysis. This is what we are going to be building. Okay? Just a minute, please. All right, so this is what we are going to be building. As you can see on my screen, just hold up, please. So we have a 50K budget analysis dashboard. Now look at the dashboard we are building. It has the total budget, total expenditure. What is the budget variance? That's the difference between the budget and expenditure. What is the percentage of this variance to the budget, right? How are they utilizing their budget? We're also going to be looking at utilization rate by departmental name, right? Based on the department, which department is actually utilizing the budget or underutilizing it or overutilizing it. They were also looking at an expenditure breakdown by category. In all of the categories in the department, what are the things we spend money on? See which category of items, which category are we actually spending more of our expenditure on? We'll be looking at a budget by department. We want to be able to see how much was budgeted for each department, right? Then we're going to be looking at like a monthly trend of our expenditure. We're going to look like a monthly trend of our expenditure. So across the 12 months, remember we're looking at analysis across 12 months. So what we're looking at is the total expenditure to the total budget. How do they compare? How do they compare? And finally, we're going to be seeing now each of the managers that we have certain managers in this thing. How are they managing the resources that have been given to them? So I'm just going to jump right into it. In case you're joining in and you're trying to work on this is where you are going to get data set. When you click on this link, it takes you direct to data set that we are going to be using. So let's jump right into our Power BI. Okay. So this is what we are going to be building. I'm going to start this from scratch. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start this from scratch, right? I'm going to build this, everything that is here. Within the next 20 minutes, I will try as much as possible to show you how I generated this amazing insightful data. So let's jump right into it. The first thing I'm going to do, let me create a new report. Okay, a blank report. This is my Power BI interface. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to create a new report, right? You can get into the nitty-gritty of how to use Power BI, the aesthetics of Power BI, when you eventually get to see more. At the end of this, I'm going to show you how you can also take advantage of all of these tools. How do you really fit into this? How do you fit into the scope of the Power BI tool. So I want to open my report. What is going on? You said at the beginning that you need to work in, import it into your Power BI interface. This is my Power BI interface, okay? So let me just close this. This is my Power BI interface, right? So I'm going to be doing that design that you saw, that amazing design that you saw earlier. Okay, so I'm not going to shuttle around across the two dashboards so that we can actually see what I'm doing clearly. So first thing first, I need to bring in the data that I am working with. I need to get the data. So I'm going to come to somewhere around here and get my data. I'm working with an Excel file. So you can see we have different data sources here. So first things first, the Excel workbook, an Excel workbook. Okay. So I think I can find it under my download. This is the data set that I am working with. So I'm just going to upload this. I'm going to click on this and then I'll just open. Okay. All right. So it's going to take a while to open this. All right. You can actually drop your question in the chat box. At the end of this session, I will try as much as possible to take your question. And also my colleague that will be coming after me will try also to answer some of the questions. So please take time to just watch what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to use all of this data. I have data from 4 different sources. I have data for budget. Let me see what it looks like. I want to see what it looks like. Okay. I have for budget. I have for department. This is my department, right? I have for expenditure, right? This is the data set for expenditure, and I have for date. First thing I want to do, I want to make sure that this data is clean enough for analysis. I want to make sure that it's clean enough for analysis. So I'm going to transform my data. Okay, I'm just going to transform my data. Now, during transformation, 3 things we try to look out for. We want to make sure that we don't have null values or blank values. We want to make sure that we don't have wrong values. I also want to make sure that we don't have blanks. Or we want to also make sure that our data is just what we want. There are no errors, no errors. All the data type are in proper forms. And the like, as you can see, this is data. This is showing as a calendar. So meaning that this is in adequate form. Then I have my months. I have my month number, quarter, and year. This is the data set. Let me go to my expenditure. Let's see what my data look like. The department, category, the month, the actual expenditure, payment method, the fiscal year, which is 2024, and the month year. Okay. If I go to my department, now I need to clean this my department. How am I cleaning it? As you notice from here, my headers are not properly aligned. My headers are supposed to be about, I'm having something like column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. This will disrupt my data analysis. So what I need to do is to ensure that these headers are actually going to the right space. So there's somewhere around here where you're going to see use first row as header. So I'm just going to click on this and say use first row as header. Can you see now that it has been cleaned? So I can now have my department, public health, administration, and hospital service. So let me see my budget. If there is any error, okay, I just need to scroll randomly to just check. You can just open this drop down to see if you see any error. Okay, no blanks. Make sure there are no blanks. Okay, months by months are.
Hi, Mark. Sorry to jump in. So please help us check your audio. We're struggling to hear you. Just check your mic, please.
Okay. All right.
So let's just give Mark a minute so that he can fix his mic and you can hear him clearly.
Just a minute.
So while we wait for Mark, I want to hear from us in the chat. How many of us have any financial background whatsoever? So if we have practicing accountants, or someone who has a background in accounting, in finance, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. So if you have any background in finance, accounting, or economics, or you're a practicing accountant right now, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. If you don't, I want you to put a 2 in the chat. All right, I see iPhone, I see Johnson, I see Dele. Fantastic. Okay, I see Adanya, I see Sim, I see Tele, and I see Sir Easy. All right, that's fine. Sir Easy says 0.5. Okay, I guess that's another category. All right.
Elizabeth, is it better now?
Yes, much better. Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you. All right, so yeah, where were we? Okay, so earlier we're trying to clean our data set and confirm that all of our data is actually correct and accurate. Remember, data quality is something you need to watch out for. So I want to be sure that my data is, I can confirm to you that my data is clean and good to go. So what I'm just going to do is to close and apply, right? Okay, that's the first step, which is our data preparation. Remember I mentioned first step earlier, data preparation. All right, so I'm just going to wait for all of my data to load. So I'm waiting for my data to load. Okay, so here we go. For those of you that love football, hear the word, here we go, by Fabrizio Romano. So this is the here we go for our own Power BI. Now, how do you mean that here we go? As you can see here, before we started, we didn't have any of this before. All right, I didn't know I wasn't sharing my screen. Okay. All right, so now you can see all of the data that we loaded. These things are called tables in Power BI. This is the table for budget, the table for dates, table for department, and table for expenditure. Okay. Elizabeth, can you please confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, we can, Mark.
All right, beautiful. Thank you. So first, let's look at what we are going to be building. Let's look at the demo of what we are going to be building. Let's get familiar with it. Let's see. All right, so let me just show us what we're going to be doing. I'm going to demo this. I'm going to try and make this. So I want you to pay attention to every details here. So the first thing we need to do is to create what we call our KPIs, right? We are creating our KPIs. What are the KPIs? They have the total budget, total expenditure, budget variances, and utilization rate. Before we do that, we need to create a relationship. Remember, we have 4 different tables. We need to link all of our tables together. We need to link them. So how do we do that? So we're going to go to our model here, somewhere here, okay? Then we're going to create manage relationship. We want to create relationship between our tables. So we have the budget month and date month established. What relationship we need to create? Let's go to new relationship, okay? Now we are going to combine our budgets, right, to departments, okay? Now our budgets to department, we both have in common. They both have departments in common. We need to create a relationship between our budget table and our department table, right? So let me just create, this is it, department in the budget table, department in the department table. This relationship. Now, we don't know department. Now, what we want to do is this. We want to be able to identify all of the public health. We want to see information for all the public health. Even if you have 10 public health, we want to treat them as a single department. If you notice there, we have multiple public health. We want to convert them to a single. That's why it's many to one. Many departments to a single department. Then I'm going to save. Now, the next thing I want to also do is pay the same thing for expenditure. Go back to my mortgage relationship, new relationship, expenditure, the same thing department. Okay. Then what do they both have in common? They both have departments in common. And this is the relationship. This is what they both have in common. Many to one, then I'm going to say beautiful, beautiful. So this active relationship. Now let me close this and go back to my Canva. This is the Canva where I'm going to be building my dashboard. So first, I need to build a few KPIs. Okay. So I need to build my KPIs. How do I achieve that? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table where I want all of my formulas to be. I'm going to make this as neat as possible, and I'm going to be very, very fast about this. So again, you might not be able to join me the way I'm doing. So what I would expect you to just go back, watch the recording. That's why you need to fill the form so that I can have access to the recording. So I'm going to go out to my my model view and create like a table, right? New table. This is what my formula to be. The formulas I'm going to use, I want them to be neatly stored in a table. So I'm going to call this formula, okay, equal to, let me just call this formula. All right, so I have a table called formula. So the first one I want to create is the total budget. What is the total budget? So let me click on this, new measure, right? I right click on this and create new measure. So I'm going to call this total budget. Now, how do I calculate my total budget? I need to sum up all of the budget. All of the budget. So sum. Can you see all the budget amounts? I want to sum everything. That's my total budget. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to get is my total expenditure. Total expenditure. So I want to look at it. This is what I just created. I'm going to go back to my formula. Create a new measure. The measures are more like formulas. We call them formulas in the Excel. But in PowerBI, we call them measures. We call them measures. So I'm going to call this one total expenditure. Now, what is my total expenditure? Simply means the amount that was spent, right? So how do I get that? I'm going to say the sum again. Sum of what? Let me say expenditure. Actual expenditure. This is it. Total expenditure. This is the column where I can find. This is the table. I have my actual expenditure in the expenditure table. So actual expenditure, then I'm going to close this, right? Good, we are making progress. We are making progress. Again, you can drop your message, your chat question in the chat box, and at the end of this section, I will probably take out time to respond to them. And any question that cannot be answered, we'll find a way to reach out to you. Okay. Now that is my expenditure. The next thing I want to see, what is the difference between my budget and my expenditure? What is the difference? I'm going to call it budget variance. I'm going to call it budget variance. Okay. Budget variance. So my budget variance is simply what? My total budget, right? Minus my total expenditure. Total budget minus total expenditure. Okay? Total budget minus total expenditure. The next thing I want to see is the percentage variance. That is budget variance compared to the budget itself. Now let me show you what I'm trying to achieve here, right? Now, as you can see from here, I have something like a budget variance here. Can you see this place here? It's showing me that my variance is, my budget is 50. I spent 0.21% of my budget. Like I spent about 0.21% beyond my budget, right? That is what it means, minus. Meaning I spent 0.21% more than my budget. That's what I spent on my expenditure. That's what you can see, minus 0.21 in that. And it's going to be in percentage, all right? So it's going to be my budget variance divided by my total budget. Budget variance divided by my total budget. So let's go to and do that. Okay. So let's see. So let's create a new measure and call this budget variance. Let's call this budget variance. Okay. That is going to be equal to what? Divide. I'm going to divide. What I divide, my numerator is my budget variance, right? What I just calculated, divided by my budget. So I'm trying to see how much did I spend beyond my budget? What's the percentage I have spent beyond my budget by my total budget? Then I'm going to say comma 0. In case where there is no calculation, I don't want to see error. Can you see what I have here? Divide. My numerator is my budget variance. My denominator is my total budget, and the amount which is not is zero, meaning that in situation where the calculation is not possible, I want you to put the zero there, right? Then I'm just going to enter. We are almost there. We are almost there. I want to see. Okay, said it's already used. Sorry, let me change this one to variance percentage. Variance percentage. Variance in percentage. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now variance in percentage. Let me convert this to percentage. Okay, now I'm going to use all of these things that I've created as my key performance indicator. So I'm going to use what we call a new card. We have different visuals. These are visuals they have in Power BI. These are called visuals. I'm going to use a certain visual called a new card. This is it here. Okay. Now I'm going to just put all of this my KPIs into this particular visual. So the first thing I want to see is my total budget, my total expenditure. Can you see? Total budget, total expenditure, the variance, okay? Then the budgeted variance. No, the budgeted variance first, then the variance. Now, you might not see this at a glance, so I'm going to just expand it so that I can see it at a glance. I'm going to go to my format your visual, then change my layout. It says how many cards is showing at the moment. If I want everything to show, I need to scroll. I don't want to scroll. So I'm not going to change this one to 4. Okay, so everything is going to show at a glance. Beautiful. Can you see what I have here? All of my KPIs. So what is the total budget? 7 million. Now, this is approximate value. It's not approximate value. You can change this. So let me change my values. Let me show you something. Okay. So let's go to our visuals. The call out, these things are called call out values. So I'm going to change my call out value for my total budget. I want to see it in millions. Let me see. I want to see the full number. Look at the way it's looking, right? I see the way it's looking to convert it to millions. This is not looking, doesn't look appropriate, it looks distorted. So I want to make it very neat and easy for people to understand. That is why I'm going to change it back to auto. So it's going to do it automatically for me. Now look at the budget difference between my budget and my expenditure, meaning that I have spent 15,000 more than my budget. 15,000 more than my budget. That is minus 15K. I've exceeded my budget, right? Overall. So this is that for that. So let's go back to our slide and see what we are working with. Let's look at our slide and see what we are working with. So we've been able to look at our total budget, total expenditure, the utilization rate. The next thing we want to do is to design our budget versus actual. We want to now create visuals. We want to be able to see how our budget compares to the actual, like a trend. You want to see the monthly trend. So let's go out to our visual, our Power BI. Okay, so we're going to create something. So let's create that. So I want to see every month on a monthly basis how our budget matches up to our expenditure. So I want to use a line chart. This is a line chart I'm going to use here. Okay, so I have two things I want to context. So first thing, I want to use my months. I want to see on a monthly basis. Let me change this to month and year. Okay, right. So I'm going to use the months here. Let me remove this. Let me use for my expenditure months here. All right, perfect. This is showing here. I want it to show year and months. So I'm just going to keep. I'm going to keep pressing this. I don't want to see. I don't want to see quarter. I don't want to see day. I'm just going to remove quarter. I'm just going to remove day. I just want to see the year and the month. Okay. Now, what I want to see for my year and my month, I want to see the total budget, and I want to see the total expenditure. Okay. Where do we have this? Okay, so let me change this. Let me change this. Now let me move. I have to use two different charts. Let me move this one to the step. Let me move this one. So I want to have two different charts. Two different charts. So let me move my total expenditure to the y-axis. All right, this is what I have. I think I need to create a relationship somewhere. Just a minute. Let me see what I use for this. Let me use dates. Let me use my dates to do that. All right, perfect. So I'm using my date. Now, what can you see from here? As you can see in January, this blue line, this other line will indicate expenditure. Why this one indicate budget? As you can see, my expenditure was more than my budget. I spent beyond my budget in January. In February, it's almost the same. What about in May? What about in November? So this is showing you the trend of all of the months. This is showing you the trend of all of the months. Let me move. I only want to see for year and months. Don't want to quarter. All right, so this is perfect. January, February, March. Now, if we look at the month of February, can you see in February, my expenditure was 656,000, while my total budget was 656,000. My expenditure was more in February also. Same in March, then April and May. This is showing you like a trend of your budget, your total expenditure. All right, let's also see what else we want to analyze. Let's see what else you could be analyzing. So we want to see total budget by department. Total budget by department. What is the total budget based on the department? Okay. So let's create something here. All right. So total budget by department. Let me just move this. I'm going to use a donut chart to show that this is my donut chart. I'm going to have my total budget. Okay. Where's my total budget? Then by what? By department. Can you see my department here? Let's go to our department. So for each department name. So as you can see from here, let's expand this a bit. Administration, we spent about 2 million for public hospital services. We spent about 3 million for administrative services. Then for public health, we spent about 2 million. This is 32% of the total budgeted amount, right? You see that we are giving insight to what is happening with our budget, okay? So this is showing us total amount, total budgeted, each amount that was budgeted for each department. Let's see another KPI we're looking at. We want to see the expenditure breakdown by category. What is this amount of the expenditure for each category? How much do you spend on each category? Okay, so let's go back to this. Now, I want to do expenditure by each category. Okay, so let me just reduce this. I can reduce this also. Now we are going to use a let's see what we used here. This is a table. We're using a table to indicate it, right? A table. So let's go and use a table for our. This is a table here, right? What things we are going to need in our table? First of all, we'll need the category, the total expenditure, the category and total expenditure. The category and total expenditure. So first things first, where can we find category? Let's see where we can find category. Okay, expenditure. This is it. So we need the category and the what? Total expenditure. Can you see? This is the category and the total expenditure. Okay, let's expand this a bit. Let me remove this. All right, so this is all for equipment. We spent about 693,000. That was the amount we spent. For IT, we spent about 86,000. Utilities about 82,000. We can rearrange this to see which category we spent the most. We can see from here we spent more on salaries and medical services. I want to do something. I want to see the percentage of all of this expenditure. So I want to drag this total expenditure back to this place. Then in this case, I want to change this one to show value as percent of grand total. So can you see that we have 22% of our total expenditure was on salaries. Then the list was equipment, which is spent 9.96. I could decide to do. I want to see like a conditional formatting showing how all of them compare. This is not giving us like a true state, right? This might not give us a true picture of how large the data is. So we are going to have like a conditional formatting here. Let me go to this place. Conditional formatting, data bars, okay? Now I want to use what color do I want to use? I want to use this purple color. Then let me click on OK. Now, can you see? Looking at this data bar, what comes to your mind? This particular department, we spent more on salary. We spent more on salaries, followed by, we can rearrange, let's rearrange this. And you see the chart. This is more on salary, then followed by medical supplies, followed by office maintenance, and the list in equipment, right? So this is the breakdown of expenditure by each category. Let's see budget utilization. And what do you want to do? You want to see utilization rate by departmental name. Utilization rate by departmental name. How well do they utilize their budget? Still utilize their budget or underutilize their budget? So I'm going to be saying total expenditure divided by the total budget. Total expenditure divided by the total budget. So let's create the KPIs for that. Let's call this utilization rate. And that's where we are going to be wrapping up. We are gradually wrapping up utilization rate equal to divide total expenditure by what? The total budget, right? Remember when we are doing the divide, use an alternate result which is 0. Okay, so let's convert this to percentage. You have to make it in percentage. Now, I want to see the departments, which departments spent above their budget or which one spent below budget. So we're going to use, let's use this column chart to indicate that. I'm going to use this column chart, okay? So I'm going to use departments, right? And their utilization rate. Now, as you can see here, what can you see from here? Utilization rate for, I think there's I think there's something I didn't do. Let me see what I did. Let's see. The total expenditure by the total budget. Okay, I think I have to be sure that I did the same thing. Let me see my utilization rate. Where are we? Okay. Okay, department name. Department name. Okay. All right, so this is what we have here, right? Total expenditure by the total budgets. All right, so what we can see from here is this, right? For administration, we have like a 37% utilization of the total budget. Then for public health, about 32.71. Then for social service, we have a 30.5% utilization rate. So that is that for that. What we want to do, let me see. Let's add our utilization rate to our charts. Let's go back to what we want to achieve. Let's see our KPI. So we've been able to do the expense category distribution, departmental budget allocation, the utilization rate by management. Okay. So we want to also create a chart, budget utilization rate by manager. Budget utilization rate by manager. So that's the next thing we want to create. So let's go back to our charts. We can squeeze it somewhere here. Let me just move this. Okay, so I'm going to use a tree map. I'm going to use a tree map for that by manager. So let's see which manager actually did well with their budget. I think I made a mistake somewhere. So utilization rates, then the manager. Let's see. All right, yeah, this is it. All right, so what you can see from here, for Dr. Henry, this is 100.70%, meaning Dr. Henry spent above his budget, right? Dr. Jane, 100.43%, spent above the budget. What about Mr. Peter? 99.62, meaning this person spent below the budget. So this is also trying to track. So what we can see, let's do a quick insight of what we have so far. Total budget 7 million, about 7 million. Total expenditure about 7 million. The difference in their budget is about 15,000. Something. Let's be able to see by different months. Let's see for months. We want to see how each one performs. So I'm going to try to slide somewhere here. Let me put my months there. Okay. My months here. I want a drop down. I want a drop down. Vertical list. Okay. Let me change this to tiles. Just a minute. There's something I need to do here. Okay, let me use between. So now what I'm doing here is this is from January 2024 to December 2024. I choose to say I want to see between January to April. What was the budget perform when it comes to budget? So from January to April, let me pick April. Let's see. From January to April. Can you see this is 0.24, meaning that from January to April, we spent above our budget, right? This is January to May. Let me change this to April. Okay. Now from between January to April, we spent less than our budget. That is why you can see 0.24. We have extra. So we budgeted about 2 million. Then we spent less than 2 million. Now with this, as a financial analyst, you can actually look at this data set and begin to create insight. You can, for example, let's look at, you can say, let's take this back to 2 months. Now we can look at this and say that the month we spend the most is our month of April. Like in the month of April, the budget was high, the expenditure was also high. The month of May, in the month of May, we spent the least. Let's look at May. Let's go around May. Then you see the month of May, we spent total budget, our budget was 503,000. Expenditure was 519,000. We spent above our budget, and we spent about 16,000. Now let's do another form of analysis. We can actually say, want to look at based on administration, based on department. What is the department perform? Let's look at administration. Now for administration, the total budget was 3 million. Expenditure was about 3 million. Let me change this to something that we can easily understand. We can relate to it. Let me change this number to none. For expenditure to, let me change this one to none too. Now look at this for administration. The total budget was about 2.58 million. Total expenditure was 2.57 million, meaning that we had extra 10K. So we underspent for this particular month. Now, what we've been able to do with these visuals is we've been able to explain what is happening around the business, right? Now, that is the power of what PowerBI can do. PowerBI can give you a clear understanding of what is happening across your data set. Now, I'm going to stop at this junction, right? I'm going to stop here so that my colleague can take over. And if you want to get to know more about, my colleague is going to share with you how you can get to see how amazing or what other insights you can generate, how you can use Power BI to generate more insight. Essentially, being able to do across this, you're supposed to be able to understand what is happening around the budget, how the month performing, the department performing, which department spends more on expenditure or budget. We're also able to look at categories of items that we have in the organization, which category do we spend more? And finally, how were the managers able to utilize their budget? As you can see, it's an amazing tool. And, trust me, data is powerful, we can transform into actionable insight. With the right tools, the right mindset, and the right questions, we can turn complex data sets into meaningful decisions. At the core of every successful data project is not just analysis, but the story itself and the impact it drives. If you want to keep telling better stories with data, the analytics is going to show you how you can further enhance your skills as a financial analyst, where you also give insight to regards to data. Thank you all for listening. I'll pass over the baton to my colleague, Elizabeth, where she's going to further share with you more insights on what it takes to become a financial analyst, and how you can take advantage of Power BI as a tool. Thank you, Elizabeth. You have the floor.
Thank you so much, Mark. I almost did not want you to stop. Okay, thank you so much. You can stop sharing your screen now. So I want to actually see reactions in the chat. Okay, please let's just clap for Mark. Let's just encourage him a little bit. It's not easy, to just come on here and share your screen and show absolute newbies how to use. So I see David. David says, thank you so much. Thank you for listening to us as well, David. So I just want to see, people clapping in the chat. Norma says, thank you, Mark. So Mark, your people are thanking you. Thank you so much for sharing, this knowledge. I know I gave you only a short period of time, but at least you utilize it well. So you can go ahead and stop sharing your screen now, Mark. All right, thank you. So I'm just going to carry on from where Mark stopped. Okay, for the past, 1 hour, Mark was just taking us through, how you can analyze budgets using Power BI. Now, yes, while the focus was on health budgets, the truth is you can do so much more, right? You are not just really relegated to, the healthcare department. Of course, you can work in any sector of choice, whether it's in a fintech, whether it's in a business, whether it's in the educational sector or even healthcare. Already you know that as a financial analyst, your role is one of the most important roles, because what you do is you help organizations track their finances in order for them to make smarter money decisions. Now, for people that are already, interested and excited after seeing just the snippets, that Mark has shown us, I'm going to show you just how you can get started in your journey into becoming a financial analyst. Now, the 3 things you need to do today, the first thing you want to do is you want to learn. You have already made the best step, the best foot forward right now by joining this session tonight. Okay. Now you have identified the in-demand tech skill that you want to learn, which is financial analytics. So you have taken the first step. Of course, you want to go ahead to study and immerse yourself in that program. The next thing you want to do is you want to package yourself. Packaging is very important. And when I talk about packaging, I'm talking about your employability skills. These are things that help you to stand out in the job market. Because the truth is, it's not enough to know how to, analyze a budget using Power BI or using, problem solving or, being able to write DAX. That is not enough. How do you stand out in the competitive job market, especially because we're dealing on the global scale right now? And then finally, we have apply. You want to, tailor your CV, tailor your application process, apply with precision. Now, that's very important. All right, you know exactly what it is that you're looking for. Now, you want to make sure that you're tailoring your application process to fit exactly what you want. If you want a job that offers sponsorship, you're tailoring your application process to fit that. If you want a job that, offers remote options, you can work from home. You want to make sure that you're tailoring your application process to fit that. Now, make sure that every single, job that you're applying to, you're tailoring your CV to fit the job description. Now, that is very important. And that is how you'll be able to land your dream job. Now, it always seems impossible until it is done. I asked a question earlier, I was asking, do we have anybody who is in the finance space right now, whether you're an accountant, you have a financial background? I saw a couple of people put one in the chat, meaning yes, and I saw a couple of people put no in the chat. Now, even for the people who have a financial background, some sort of background, right, you might be wondering, I just know the basics of accounting. How can I transition into tech? Is it even really possible? Again, for people who are just joining the session, okay, very important that you fill the attendance form. My colleagues have been dropping the link to the attendance form in the chat. Now, the reason for this is we need your details in order to be able to send the recording of this session, as well as the materials and the data sets that Mark used. Very important. That's the only way we can send it across to you. All right, so once you fill the form and we have your details, we'll send you the recording as well as the materials. So if you need to see a replay, if you want to have access to the data set, make sure to fill the attendance form that my colleague Shay just put in the chat. Thank you so much, Shay. So now let's take a look at some success stories. We've had a lot of people that have been able to transition from an absolute, no prior experience in tech, no background whatsoever, and they have been able to transition into financial analysis. Now, it goes way beyond just learning the skill. They have actually been able to move from the classroom into their first job. Now, let's take a look at Chika, for example. Chika landed a full-time role as a financial analyst in the UK. All right, we worked with Chika, we helped him to prepare for his interviews. We provided him with reference letters, which is something that I will speak more on, in coming slides. And we were able to help him secure that job. Now, according to Chika, Analytics has been a blessing to him. Now, remember to fill the attendance form because all these different testimonials are linked on the slide. So you don't even have to take my word for it. You can actually get the slide. And when you get the slide, you start to go over the videos one after the other. Now, I'm just going to show you. You can see that every single testimonial is linked. So you can actually go and watch what these people have to say about their experience, with Analytics. Then let's talk about Solomon. Solomon was an engineering graduate. Now, this is to also tell you that you can be anything that you want to be. I don't want to become a motivational speaker or start to sound like one, but the sky really is your limit. Now, regardless of your background, whether you're coming from a healthcare background or you've been a midwife, you've been a nurse, or you're an accountant, or you're an engineer, regardless of your background, as long as this is something that you're interested in learning, I'm here to tell you that it's possible. So Solomon got a full-time job as a financial analyst with Kegos Group in Nigeria. Let's look at Grace as well. Grace, listen to what Grace had to say about her experience with the 10Analytics, financial analytics program. Again, just make sure that you fill the attendance form so you can watch all of these different, testimonials. If I start to speak about all the different success stories we've had, we are not going to leave here for the next 5 hours. So I'm just going to breeze right through them. Again, there are a lot of success stories. People like Victor, they were able to, transition into a role as a financial analyst. Bumi was also able to get a job as a market data analyst after completing the financial analytics program here at Analytics. Afolabi got a job as a financial analyst with QuickBooks after completing the financial analytics program here at Analytics. So many different testimonials, so many of them. All right. I could spend all night talking about them, but now let's talk about the skills that will land you a job in 2025 going into 2026 as well. Now, of course, a lot of us on here, we might not necessarily even know who a financial analyst is. Right? You just heard about it, and maybe because of your background in finance, you feel like this is something that you can do. Now, you are absolutely correct. A financial analyst is a type of data analyst who has now decided to niche down into financial data. Now, in every organization, are very important people. Of course, the finance department is the powerhouse of the organization. That's the department that will be able to tell the organization how well they are doing with their finances, help them to, make strategic decisions when it comes to their money. Now, as a financial analyst, you are able to evaluate financial data in order to be able to provide, insights into the company's financial performance and also support their decision making. So just like Mark did, he used Power BI to break down the budget of a healthcare hospital. Right now, that is something that you're able to do. You're able to help them see where they are spending money. Are we bleeding money? Are we overspending? Are we spending more than we are making? All right, what department are we spending the most on? What doctor or what manager or what employee are we spending the most on? Are we getting our money back? Now, finance people are very important people. Again, I love to say it. There's no organization out there in the world that would want to play with their money. All right. They need somebody that can help them, track all of these different expenditures, expenses, and let them know where they're making mistakes. Now, also, before organizations take bold steps or take a leap when it comes to spending money, they also need the opinion of a financial analyst. Now, back in Nigeria, couple of years ago, we had two huge banks. One bank was acquired by the other. We had Access Bank acquire Diamond Bank. Now, anybody that has been in Nigeria at any point, they know of these banks, but these two banks are giants. Now, one bank, got acquired by the other. We call this mergers and acquisitions, right? Now, before something like that can take place, a financial analyst needs to be able to take a look at the financials of the other organization, to let this organization that is about to acquire that organization know that this is not a money pit. All right. So before Access Bank went ahead to acquire Diamond Bank, they needed financial analysts to go in there and take a look at the financials of Diamond Bank. So they know that, okay, when we spend this money that we're going to spend to acquire this organization, we are going to actually make our money back. Now, you see how important, financial analysts are. Now, what are the things that you're going to be learning here at Analytics or the financial analytics program? We're going to start off with you learning all the tools that you need to learn as a data analyst. Now, remember, I said earlier that a financial analyst is a type of data analyst. Now, what that means is that this program is actually 2-in-1. All right, you're going to be learning data analytics, and then we go into the finance aspect. So we dive deep into the finance aspect as well. And the beautiful thing about this is you're going to be learning everything from scratch. All right. Now, in the 45 minutes that Mark had, he was able to walk us through how you can use Power BI to just create a report. Now, that is just a snippet, right? That is just a snippet of what you can get here at Analytics. And we teach you how to use all of these different tools from scratch. So you're actually going to learn problem solving, the different techniques you can use to solve problems in an organization. Whenever you see any problem that relates to your data, what are the different techniques you can use to solve it? Like your Pareto principle, like your DMAIC, right? You're learning all these different techniques. And then we go into Excel, which is basically the bread and butter of every data analyst. You can't say you're a data analyst or you're a financial analyst or you know how to work with data if you don't know how to use Excel. And that's the truth. You can quote me, anywhere. Now you're going to learn how to use Microsoft Excel as not just a spreadsheet. I'm sure a lot of us were very conversant with Microsoft Excel on this call. We use it as a spreadsheet. When you want to, just put some information, you just need to create a spreadsheet and you go to Microsoft Excel. Now you're going to learn how to use Microsoft Excel like a data analyst. All right. But again, remember, we start from scratch. So actually, we're going to start with what is a row in Microsoft Excel? What is a column in Microsoft Excel? What are your different formulas and functions that you have in Microsoft Excel? Moving into your pivot chart, your pivot table, how you can use Microsoft Excel to clean and analyze data. Then we move into Power BI. I mean, we already know what Power BI is. Mark just walked us through it. That's a wonderful business intelligence tool that you can use to, build dashboards, visualize your data. Now, we are also going to be teaching you SQL. It's called Structured Query Language. And personally, I like to call it the language of the database. This is how you're able to communicate with your database. It's a special language. Data does not understand English. You cannot just speak to your database right now and ask your database for insights and it gives you that insight. Data has its own very special language. And, only data specialists, data analysts, financial analysts, anybody that is a data specialist that can understand that language. So I want you to think of it as the database speaks Spanish or speaks Latin. And then in the entire company, you're the only person that speaks and understands Latin. So of course, when it's time to, get insights from that data, you'll be the go-to person because you're the only person that speaks the language of data. So you're actually going to learn SQL, and then we take it a step further and we dive into the accounting aspect. So you're going to be learning your accounting fundamentals, things like your income statement, your balance sheet, your cash flow statement, right? You're going to be learning how to differentiate between, assets, liabilities, and equity. You're going to learn about entry system. You're going to learn account cycle, and so on and so forth. Then we go into financial analysis. How are you able to, analyze the financial data of any organization? How are you able to perform an analysis to take a look at what is going wrong, where we're spending, too much, where we're spending too little, where we are saving money, how we can save money, right? Then we go into financial modeling. How are you able to build models, financial projections for this organization? A lot of times, organizations will want you to build a financial model so you can tell them, or a projection, right? So you can tell them that, okay, by this time next year, this is the amount of money we would have made. So you're also going to be learning how to do that as a financial analyst. Then we move into, valuation, we move into sensitivity and scenario and day out. We hear about, AI everywhere. Because of the advent of AI, we want you to, not be left behind as the world is evolving. So what we did was we went ahead to infuse generative AI into the curriculum. So you're actually going to learn how you can leverage ChatGPT in your role as a financial analyst. All right. So you are learning how you can use ChatGPT to your advantage, how you can use ChatGPT to make your work faster and easier for you. So you don't have to be the one always doing the brain work. I mean, it's almost like you have an intern that you're not paying. ChatGPT does 50% of the work, you do 50% of the work. And at the end of the day, you are the one getting the entire salary. All right. Now we're basically teaching you how you can track, how you can summarize, how you can interpret the way money moves in any organization so that you can help that company understand their financial performance and also help them make informed decisions. Now, I mentioned earlier that this program is 2-in-1, and there's a reason for that, right? you're learning data analytics and you're learning the financial aspect of things. Now, what that means is that upon completion of this program, you can work in the finance space, of course, but you can also get roles as a data analyst. All right. So I don't want you to think or feel like you are limited if you take the financial analytics program, because I'm sure a lot of people will be thinking, okay, I want to be, more versatile. I don't want to be just limited to finance. Now, that is something that you can 100% also achieve, using this program. You are not limited at all. All right, you are not limited. Now go ahead to just put your questions in the chat. If you have any questions for me right after the presentation, I'm going to be taking your questions. Now here at Analytics, we have a blended learning approach. So we have a combination of live classes, self-paced learning, as well as drop-in sessions. All right, so for your live classes, you have live classes 2 times in a month. So every other Saturday, you have a live class. Now, this is because we're also trying to be very flexible. Okay, we are no longer in high school where our major job is just to wake up in the morning and go to class. I know a lot of us here, we have families we're taking care of. A lot of us are studying, maybe, studying for your master's degree. A lot of us have, other jobs, 9 to 5, even the people that work shift jobs. Now, we made sure that the program was flexible enough for you. Now, why we have 2 live classes in a month, 2 Saturdays in a month, you have a live class, meaning you could have a live class this Saturday and next Saturday you don't have a live class. Then the upper Saturday, you have another live class. And then we have 2 different timings for the live class, also to accommodate people joining from different time zones. All right, so we have the morning class, which is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and the evening class, which is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. Now, you're able to choose which of these classes is more convenient for you based on your schedule. So, I have to work on Saturdays in the morning, but I'll be free in the evening. So let me go for the evening class. Or, I'll be too tired in the evening. I'd rather take the morning class. So you're able to actually choose which one is more convenient for you. Now, outside of your live classes, every single week, you have what we call Watch Me Do It videos, pre-recorded videos by facilitators such as Mark, people that are going to walk you through how to use all these different tools using projects. Now, that's another important part. Every single thing that you're learning here, you're actually going to learn them using projects, and you work on a minimum of 8 projects with us. So what this also does is you're building your portfolio while you're with us. You're able to house all the projects that you're working on, in your portfolio while you're still with us. Now, in case you're studying, you're going through your videos, or maybe you missed a live class and you're watching the recording, because every session, anything that requires you to join a meeting here at Analytics is always recorded. And once you are a participant, you have immediate access to the recordings. At that point, you will not be asked to fill an attendance form because we already have your details. So once the class is over, you get the recording of the class uploaded and you just go there and watch it. So if for any reason, maybe due to an emergency, a work emergency, you miss a live class, you have access, lifetime access to the recording of that live class, the data sets that was used, the materials, etc. Right? Then you'll also be added to a closed WhatsApp group chat with your facilitator, someone like Mark, as well as your peers in the program. Now, when you're studying and you have any question that you want a fast response to, you can just quickly go to the group chat and, tag your facilitator. So say Mark is your facilitator, you go to the group chat for your class and tag Mark and ask your question, and you get a response as soon as possible. Now, that's the first avenue you get to ask your questions. The second avenue is we have mini classes, what we call drop-in sessions, that happens 2 times in a week. Now, this is to let you know that we're not just leaving you to your own devices. Yes, you have, live classes twice a month, but we don't just leave you and wait till the next live class. No, we keep engaging you throughout the week. Now, the drop-in sessions, we have 2, one on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. West African time, and another one on Saturdays. So the Saturdays, you don't have a live class, you have a drop-in session by 6 p.m. West African time. And that session is basically like a troubleshooting class. So say you have gotten a project, Mark has taught you how to use PowerBI in class, and then gave you a project to work on, and you're trying to work on it, it's just not working, you don't understand it. Now you can come back to a drop-in session and say, Mark, please, this thing that you taught us in the last class, I don't really understand it. Or I was watching this video, I have this question, I don't understand. Can I share my screen and show you the problem I'm facing with my Power BI? Can I share my screen and show you the issue I'm having with my Excel? And then you proceed to share your screen and your facilitator will provide guidance to you. So those are the two avenues you have to ask questions. Now for the learning timeline for this program is 8 months. Yes, 6 months learning in class and then 2 months of internship. But that does not mean that you have to wait 8 months in order to be able to land a job. We actually have a lot of participants that land jobs while they're still, taking the training with us. So it is something that is 100%, possible. Now, you will also have the unique opportunity of including Analytics as well as our partner company, Amdari, on your CV. All right. So we always tell our participants, do not put it out there that you're training with Analytics. Actually, put it out there that you're consulting with us. So you're actually our consultants. And what that means is you can add us to your CV as, part of your work experience. All right. Now, if you are here, in as much as we have delved deep into financial analytics, and I've explained that it's actually 2-in-1. So you're learning data analytics and financial analytics. If you still have questions, you're not quite sure, if financial analytics is for you, you just want to confirm. All right. I want you to, so let me just show you. I want you to take the quiz that I'm going to be putting in the chat. So just click on the link that I'm going to be putting in the chat right now. Just give me a minute. Trying to send that link to you. Great. So I'm going to put this link in the chat right now, and I want you to click on it. All right. All you have to do is going to take you less than 2 minutes. All you have to do is click on that link and then just take the quiz. It's very simple, very fast, and it will help you figure out the best career path for you. It's a fun quiz, all right? It's just a couple of questions you have to answer, and then you'll be able to understand, oh, should I go for the financial analytics program? Should I go for the project management program? What program suits me best? So I want you to click on that link, all right? Just click on the link and go ahead to take the quiz so that you can figure out where, what tech career path would be best for you. All right. Now let's move on. So now here at Analytics, we have something we call the job offer formula. It is very, very simple. Simple addition. All right. It's T plus E. Now T stands for technical skills and E stands for employability skills. Now what this means is that, just like I mentioned or explained earlier, your technical skills is not enough to land you that dream job that you want. That 6-figure job that you want in tech is not enough. I'm sorry to break it to you, but knowing how to use Power BI, knowing how to build financial models, knowing how to perform financial analysis is not enough. Because yes, Norma knows how to, build Power BI, right? But so does Adewi, right? So why should I hire Norma? So does Dele, so does Edith, right? So does Adeyemi. So there are a lot of people, especially in the global market. It is very competitive. How do you stand out? How do you make it so that even if, Norma, even if you are going to apply to a job as a financial analyst and 30 other people apply to that job, you will be the one called back for an interview and you will be the one most likely to get a job. How do you do that? That is where your employability skills, come in. Now, here at Analytics, we have 8 different employability services that we offer. The very first one is CV review and revamp. Now, we are going to revamp your CV for you. It's part of the package. No extra cost, no extra fee whatsoever. Actually, from your 2nd month with us, you actually, we ask you for your current CV, what you currently use, and then we revamp it for you and send it back to you. And then from the 3rd month, we start encouraging you to apply to jobs. And that's why a lot of our participants manage to land jobs while they're still taking the training with us, even before they finish the training. So we revamp your CV for you in order to scale past the applicant tracking system, which is the ATS, that recruiters use for job posting. So a lot of times you see that when you apply to jobs, you don't even get a call back, you don't get an email, you don't get a rejection or an acceptance email. It's just gone that way. Now, the truth is, a lot of us don't know that the minute we apply to jobs, right, the ATS, I love to call the ATS like a security guard. It's AI, right? And now the ATS has been programmed, and then they put it in the program and say, Any CV that comes in that doesn't have this word, fling it out. So the minute you click submit or apply and you send your CV, you don't even know that there's something on the back end that just flung out your CV out the window. So a recruiter did not even get to see your CV. Your CV did not even get to the desk of a human being that would vet it. Right as you clicked on apply, the ATS flung it out. Now we are going to revamp your CV so that it is ATS friendly and it can scale past the applicant tracking system. The next service is the LinkedIn optimization. Now, social presence is very, very important. All right, it's very important that you're building in public. Now we're going to teach you how you can optimize your LinkedIn so that you're also able to land roles via LinkedIn. Now, I know it sounds far-fetched, but a lot of people, a lot of participants actually land jobs via LinkedIn. Personally, I cannot remember the last time I applied to a job. Imagine just minding your business, going about your daily activities, and then you get a message from a recruiter telling you that they just took a look at your profile and they're impressed with your profile. They have an opening at their company right now, and are you free to have a discussion with them? That's how a lot of people land jobs. So, one thing that people don't know is before organizations put out the job listing, and say, oh, we are hiring, come and apply, they try to fill that position themselves. Now, the reason is this simple job listing you see on LinkedIn, you see on Indeed, you see on Glassdoor, it actually costs the organization money. You have to pay a fee to, promote or post your job. Right. So if there's any way, of course, if there's any way they can cut back on that spending, they'll try to do it. So they'll try to actually go on LinkedIn and search for, professionals and take a look at their profile. If they like what they see, they reach out to you and say, please, would like to have a conversation with you if you're available. Now, how do you strategically position yourself, in such a way that, yes, you're looking for jobs out there, you're still taking the program, you're still learning the skills, and then recruiters are running after you. They're reaching out to you to have a conversation with you. That's where LinkedIn optimization comes in. Now, the next service is navigating the job market. Now, this is where we have professionals come back to the classroom and, speak to you. Again, forget about the technical skills. That's only 50% of what you need, right? Now, you also need people who have done what you're doing right now, especially for people who, you just newly relocated, maybe to the UK, to Canada, or even if you did not just newly relocate, right? This is something that is totally outside your comfort zone. You have never been a financial analyst before. You don't know what it takes. You don't know the day-to-day. You don't know, how to even navigate the job market and land jobs in the first place. Now, we bring people like yourself that have taken the program and landed jobs. Now, not just people that took the program, but people that took the program and landed jobs in the UK, in US, in Africa, in Canada, all over the world. And we bring them back to the classroom to come and give you tips and insights. This is what I did, that helped me land a job 2 months into the program. This is what I did that helped me land a job 6 months into the program. This is what you can also do. This was a mistake that I made. I don't want you to make this mistake. Now, what this does is you're learning from their experience. So you're getting tips, tips that they didn't even know when they were, getting into that journey. You're getting those tips. We bring people with years and years of experience to come back to the classroom, explain to you exactly what the job market looks like and how it works, and how you can navigate it, just to make it easier for you. Now, the next one is the interview preparatory session. All right, now we've revamped your CV for you. We've taught you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. You're minding your business. A recruiter reaches out to you and says, would like to have an interview with you. Of course, 90% of the people on this call will start to panic. All right, when you have an interview scheduled, you start to panic immediately. All right, now how about if I told you that here at Analytics, we're also available to prep you for your interviews. Now, it doesn't matter if you 20 different interviews, able to prep you different. Book a professional, the career come tell you, okay, Norma, this organization you apply to, these are the kind of questions they will ask you. Now, if they ask you this question, this is the way you should answer it. Adeyemi, when you are asked this question, this is the project you should talk about. Now, we are prepping you and building your confidence so that when it's time for the actual interview, you're walking into that interview prepared, and you already have at least 50% of the questions or the answers to the questions that you would likely be asked in that interview. Next is job reference letter. So we are also available to provide you with a reference or recommendation letter, when you land a job and they ask you and say, provide 2 of your previous employers that can give you a reference letter. So a lot of times these organizations, they ask you to drop your references and then they'll reach out. And once they reach out to us, we'll be able to provide you with a reference letter to say, yes, Adeyemi worked here, with us. He consulted as a financial analyst with us, and I can vouch for him. Yes, Brian was also one of our consultants. I can vouch for him. Yes, Edith was one of our consultants. I can vouch, for her. And next is the on-the-job support. Now, this is the least popular service that we offer because 8 months. 8 months is enough time. By the time most of our participants are done after 8 months, they're very confident. But just in case you're not, that's okay. There is no shame in it. All right. You land the job the first month, you get some tasks. You're still new to this. So you don't know how to navigate those tasks, or you don't know how to go about executing those tasks. Now, you can always come back to us here at Analytics, book a one-on-one session with somebody, and that person will provide insights and guide you on how you can execute that task. Next is weekly mentorship sessions. Like the name implies, you have mentors, you meet with mentors every single week just to get your head in the game. And finally, last but not the least, we have the Upwork optimization sessions. Now, just like what we did for you on LinkedIn, we'll also teach you how you can optimize your Upwork profile, all right? So that, especially for people who are interested in freelancing, okay? So you are able to make extra $100 here, extra $200 here, extra $50 here, even while you have your full-time role. You're able to freelance for multiple organizations or multiple individuals. All right. Now, outside of that, you also get free access to our exclusive visa sponsorship job board. All right. Now, we pay a lot of money every single month to have access to these jobs. And then when we get these jobs, we send them to you on a weekly basis. So every week you actually get a link to jobs that you apply to. Now, outside of all of these wonderful things that I've just said, you also get, drum roll, you get VIP access to our personalized AI chatbot. Now, here at Analytics, we have a personalized AI chatbot that would, take you through the journey, that would help you. And it is called Oluko. Now, Oluko in Yoruba means teacher. Now, this is the AI chatbot that will guide you, even when you have interview prep. And before you, go ahead to book a one-on-one interview preparatory session with a professional, you just want to, touch base, you want to check yourself, you can use the AI chatbot to prepare yourself for your interview. You can use the chatbot, when you are watching your videos or you're studying and there's something you don't understand. Now, this is not something that is open to the general public. All right, it's ChatGPT. This is different. This is better. I want to think of ChatGPT times 1,000. This is better than that. And this is able to provide you with personalized support every step of the way. And of course, upon registration, you have lifetime access to the chatbot. Now, here at Analytics, we are accredited by the American Council of Training and Development. And upon completion of the training, you'll get a certificate of completion as well. And this certificate is globally recognized. All right. Now, what are the next steps? What do you need to know if I still have people that are interested? Now, if you are still listening to me and you're interested, you want to see how you can join the next class starting on the 8th, I want you to put your favorite emoji in the chat. I'm looking in the chat right now. Just put your favorite emoji in the chat. Let me know the people that I'm speaking to. And if you're not interested, bye. All right. This is for the 1% of the 1%. I'm about to share something that is not for everybody. It's only for a few people. So I want to see you put your favorite emoji in the chat. Thank you, Brian. Anybody else? Anybody else? I see quite a number of people on the call. I'm about to share something very interesting. I see Adeyemi. Thank you, Adeyemi. One more person. I see Paul. Thank you, Paul, for that. All right, fantastic. Now we have the next class starting on the 8th of November. How do you join? Here at Analytics, the financial analytics program is priced at 1,000 US dollars, but I come bearing good news. Now, instead of you paying 1,000 US dollars, by virtue of you being on this call right now, listening to the sound of my voice, you are eligible for a 25% discount. So instead of 1,000 US dollars or 820 pounds, you get to pay 750 US dollars or £615. And what's more, you are able to pay in installments as well. Now, this discount is not for everybody again, which was why I asked, I wanted to know the people that are interested. This discount is for the next 20 people. We have more than 20 people on the call. So again, grab your copy as soon as you can. My colleagues are going to be dropping the link to payment in the chat, but I'm just going to walk you through how you can go through that. And then, Brian says, how about $250? Just hold on a minute, Brian. So I'm going to walk you through how you can make that possible. Okay. Now, like I said, this discount is only available for the next 20 people. 20 people listening to me right now tonight that go ahead to make payment, you don't pay 1,000 US dollars. You pay 750. Now, once 20 people pay, the 21st person will be paying the full price. All right. Now, let me show you what that looks like. So my colleagues are going to drop a link in the chat, right? And once you click on that link, what you're seeing on my screen right now is exactly what you will see, okay? You have the list of all the programs we offer here at Analytics. Now, you don't want to stress yourself too much. You already know what you want to go for. That is the financial analytics program right here. So just identify your program of interest, which is financial analytics, and then you want to click on buy now. So once you click on buy now, it opens up the program description, every single thing that you need to know about this program, from the description, the minimum number of projects you get to work on, everything that you need to know. Now, right here, you can see you just want to click on enroll now. Now, once you click on enroll now, you'll be prompted to create a free account. It's very simple. It's going to take you less than 1 minute. All right. You just need your full name, your email address, and your phone number to create that account. And once you create your free account, you'll be able to confirm your enrollment. Now, you can see it here on my screen. 25% discount has already been applied because there are 20 slots left. Okay. Now, what you want to do is, even if you can't join the next class starting in November, we have another beautiful plan for you. You can actually join the December class that starts on the 6th of December, but you can register ahead because you're trying to utilize the discount. So maybe November is going to be a busy month for you. You have work, you have school, you have studies, and you're not going to be free in November, but you're going to be free in December. You can still utilize this discount, this 25% discount I just mentioned, by just selecting the cohort you'd like to join. So would you like to join the November class? Click on November. If you'd like to join the December class, you click on December and you're good. Now, we have flexible payment options to make sure that everybody, well, not everybody, only the 1% of the 1%, 20 people can utilize this discount. All right. Now, depending on where you're joining us from, you're going to see this price displayed in your local currency. So if you're in the UK, you see it in pounds. If you're in Canada, you see it in Canadian dollars. If you're in South Africa, you see it in rands, and so on and so forth. So you don't have to worry about, exchanging or converting your funds. You're able to pay in your local currency. So right now, the full pricing of the program, like I mentioned earlier, original price is £820. Okay. And then by utilizing this 25% discount, you're able to pay £615, which is you saving £205. That's a lot of money. Where I come from, if anybody tells me there's an opportunity to save £205, £205 is even plenty. If anybody tells me there's an opportunity to save £100, I'll be very, very happy and I'll jump on it. Now you're able to save £205, and then you're able to split your payments for as many as 5 times. Now, what this means is you don't even have to have the £615 all at once. So now, Brian, this is for you. All right. So I think you are joining from the US. That's why you inquired in dollars. So you don't have to pay the full 750 US dollars all at once. If you have 250 US dollars right now, and you're like, I don't have 750, but I like to utilize this discount and I want to start my classes, you are able to select a flexible payment option to start. Now in pounds, okay, this is £615 and you're able to pay 5 times. Now what that means is that the minimum amount to get in is £123 or $150, all right, depending on the currency. £123 or $150, meaning if you have £123 at your disposal right now, I expect that you have clicked on the link that my colleagues put in the chat. Okay, click on the payment link. I'm going to share that right now as well. So you click on the payment link and then you go ahead to secure your spots. Now let me see if I have people on the call that would share that link with you. So let's just try. I see Oyi, I see Shay, I see Arafat. Let's just try to share the payment link in the chat for people that are looking to secure their spots. All right. So now once you do that, once you select the payment option that is best suited for you, whether you want to pay 5 times, want to pay 4 times or 3 times or 2 times or once, you are able to do that. And then for people who are paying once or twice, there's an extra discount for you, because again, it's a lot of money to just drop all at once. So instead of paying £615, you can pay £585, but only for people who pay at once or 2 times. All right. So let's say you select 5 monthly installments, meaning you're saying, you know what, please, I only have £123. I'd like to start my class, on the 8th of November. We've got you. All you have to do is just click on apply discounts right here. Fantastic. Arafat just shared the link to secure your spot. So just go ahead to click on that link. Now, once you click on apply discounts, you just have to confirm your enrollment, confirm your information, click on I confirm that my information is correct, and click on this and go ahead to make payments with your card. Easy peasy. It's that simple. All right. Again, first 20 people. I see one person just made payment, so we are left with 19. So you see how fast it is. Again, I told you we have more than 20 people on the call right now. So you want to try to utilize as fast as you can. Again, remember you can get in with, as low as $150 or £123. And remember, you get to pay in your local currency. So let me see if I have any questions in the chat. So Brian, you say, how about $250? I believe I've answered your question. So a minimum of $150 and you're good to go to start your classes next month. Let's see if I have more questions. Fred says, I thank you so much for the presentation. However, speed seemed high, so need for continuous replay and high level of concentration. Fantastic, Fred. That is okay. Just make sure to, fill the attendance form so that we can share the recording with you, the data set, and you can watch it as many times as you want. All right. So I see nobody has a question for me. Again, go ahead. I see one more person just made payment. So we have 18 slots left. Go ahead, click on that link and secure your spot to start your classes in November. So remember to fill the feedback, the attendance form as well, because there's so much more on this slide that you need to see for yourself. Now, I have an extra bonus for you. I held on to this bonus so that, the people that are not my targets can go. And then the people that are interested can stay back and listen to this. Now, second bonus, if you make your first installment, within 24 hours, 24 hours is a lot of time, right? But let's say if you can make your first installment in the next few hours, you also gain free access to the Amdari Vault for 1 month. Now, in this vault, we have over 250 guided projects that you can work on. So if you're also looking to build your experience, build your portfolio, get to work on a lot of projects. Now, of course, remember you'll be working on 8 projects, at least 8 projects in class. But if you want to have an edge over, your peers in class, you also want to get to work on more than 8 projects. You want to work on 20, you want to work on 50. Just make your first installment, again, at no extra cost, but only available to the people that make their first installment within the next 24 hours. All right. So thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much for sticking around. Make sure to click on the link that my colleagues are dropping in the chat. Go ahead to secure your spot, and I will see you in the November class. Bye for now.